Within my family, there's a trend of really unorthodox thinking when it comes to problem solving. And that usually entails not actually solving the problem at all.
When someone meets my family, they inevitably ask, "How are you, you?" Why is that, you ask? Have I got a story for you?
So I'm going to start with one of my sweet mate's favorite stories of my family. All right, so when I was little, I'm going to say I was definitely under 10, maybe like 10 on the dot. But one of my uncles had this party at this really nice restaurant. And I remember I was dressed up like kind of nice. I don't think it was a little suit, but it was close. I was dressed up nice for a kid. Like, here's my Sunday best type dealy. And I had like a tummy ache, and I don't know if anybody else does this, especially when you're little, but like you don't want to go to the bathroom. You're just like, that'll waste too much time. I'm just going to sit here and hold it till it goes away. Well, that doesn't work all the time, especially not when you really have to go to the bathroom. And I ended up crapping myself. And there was a lot. I had been holding it in for a while, apparently. But I just poop filled my pants, and I didn't know what to do. I was like, so I went up to my mom and I was like, I'm like tugging on her clothes. Ma, what? I pooped myself. Goes on time. What? Like that. And she's like, all right, we're gonna go to the bathroom. Now, I figured, you look up to your parents, you expect them to solve your problems. You want to know what my mom did? So we go to the bathroom. She pulls down my pants. She's like, "There's so much poop." I'm like, I know. It came out of me. I know that there's poop in my pants right now. I understand that I crap myself. What are we going to do? And instead of being like, oh, I don't know, we'll clean you off, we'll fix things, whatever. My mother's solution to this problem of me having crap my pants is basically she takes a piece of toilet paper, wipes like once, and then is like, nah, we'll just stop it from happening again. And her method of stopping me from pooping more is she just grabs a humongous wad of toilet paper and shoves it up my butt. So now I'm covered in poop. I've got poop in my undies. Now there's a huge wad of toilet paper in my butt. And then she tells me to put my clothes back on. So for the rest of the party, I have this gigantic ass. And it's because there's a wad of poopy toilet paper in my pants. And we just left it there until I went home. So, yeah, that was that one time I crapped my pants. While Ooh was staying with us last time, we had to talk about the favorite child. And during this talk, she was like, oh, I don't understand why you would be upset, like going to take care of her. I'm sure that she's, taking care of you. Favorite child? Not really, no. Mostly berates me for things, but that's a whole different story. I remember this one time, also when I was little. I think I was older than 10, though. I think if I was younger than 10, it would have, traumatized me to this day. But I remember one time, the favorite child, she had her boyfriend at the time come over, and I'm sitting at the kitchen table. I don't remember why I was at the kitchen table, because it's not a usual place we sat in our old house. But I was sitting at the kitchen table, and I remember I was blowing my nose a lot. I felt like I had a lot of snot in there. And at one point, I'm blowing my nose, and it gets sore after a while, but I still felt like there was something in there, so I kept blowing and blowing and blowing. And at some point, I blew my nose into the tissue, and my nose started to bleed. And it wasn't like a drip, drip, drip. You know how in Metal Slug, when you get turned into the zombie and you hit the bomb button and you go, brah, and this huge laser of blood comes out of your mouth? That kind of thing happened, but from my nose. So I'm blowing my nose into the tissue, and I feel like hot fire for a second, and then this stream of blood shoots out of my nose. And it's really warm, and there's a lot of it, so it comes out and it melts through the tissue that I've got up to my face. So this huge stream of blood comes out, like anime blood. It comes out of my nose, and I tilt my head back as it comes out because I wasn't expecting that to happen. So it cuts straight through the tissue, straight down the center. There's blood everywhere. There's blood all over my hands. There's blood all over the table, and I'm like sitting there shaking with, it's still dripping a little bit, but my hands are covered in blood. There's blood all over the table. Like the scraps of tissue are in my shaking hands. And my sister, the favorite child, comes downstairs with her boyfriend. She sees me shaking with blood everywhere. She looks at me. I'm shaking. I'm terrified. And she looks at me and she goes, "Hey, we're going to go out. So, take care of yourself. Bye." And her boyfriend at the time was an EMT. And he also sees me shaking. I'm freaking the fuck out. There's blood everywhere. And he looks at me and he's like, "Oh, hey, little man, just tilt your head back and pinch your nose. Okay, bye." And I'm still just sitting there like, so much blood. Also, when you're terrified, like, that's one thing I don't like to be. Like, you can be scared or you can be alone. I don't think anyone should be scared and alone. Like, that's the worst, the absolute worst feeling in the world. For me, anyway, is when you're both scared and alone. And my family is, like, really big on leaving you alone when you're scared, which is really stupid. Especially for kids, but really stupid. Alright, so I suffer from sometimes debilitating chest pains, and I don't actually know how to explain them. I don't know what's actually wrong with me. I've been to the doctor. The doctor's like, "Oh, you have heartburn." But I don't know anyone that's had heartburn to the point where, you can't physically move anymore. And it's actually painful to be breathing. Like, I don't think that's heartburn, but nobody wants to listen to me because what do I know? There's been 2 occasions, like usually it's just like a pain there and I deal with it, whatever, I go about my day. But there's been 2 occasions in my life where it's been super awful. And the second of which, all right, so when I was going to high school, I don't know why, but I've always been like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to school. Like, it doesn't bother me if I'm sick or anything. I'll still go to school. I liked being at school. It wasn't at home, so I was happy. And my mom has always been okay with me. Like, if I walked up to her in the morning and I was like, "Hey, I don't want to go to school today." For what, I didn't even have to give her a reason. I'd just be like, "Hey, I don't want to go to school today." And she'd be like, "Okay, bye." And she'd let me lay in there. Like, unless there was like a test or something, then obviously she's going to send me. But if I was just like, "Yo, I don't want to go today," it'd be fine. Didn't do that for Sunday school. No, had to go all the time. But that's also a different story for a later date. But regular school, I could be like, "Yo, Ma, I don't want to go. I'm going back to bed. Bye." And I would go to sleep. But this one time, I had this routine where I'd get up in the morning. I'd get up an hour earlier than I was supposed to. I would turn on Captain Planet. I would watch Captain Planet every morning, and I would fall asleep on the couch. And me and my dog would have this thing where she would be asleep on one end of the couch. I would be asleep on the other. And then she would fart. Every freaking morning, she would fart. And it would smell awful. And it would wake me up. And I'd get up. And then she'd walk over to where I was sitting and plop her ass down and be like, and I'd have to move to the other end of the couch. But this one morning, I got up, walked into the living room, went to, turn on Captain Planet, whatever, and I didn't make it to the couch. Like, the chest pain started, and I couldn't walk anymore. And I ended up, I like went down on all fours first, and I turned around, I like leaned up against one of the night tables and nightstands, like in the living room, and I didn't make it to the couch. I was just sitting on the floor. I was kind of in the way. I remember my mom came into the room. She was getting ready in the morning. She came into the room. She steps over me and she starts yelling at me for being in the way. And I can't really say anything to her because at this point it's already too painful to breathe. So I'm sitting there on the floor, clutching my chest, trying my best not to breathe because it's incredibly painful at this point. And my mother just starts screaming at me about how I need to get ready and I need to get out of the way. And I just remember looking up at her like, do you not see that something is wrong? Like, something is definitely wrong. I'm sure the look on my face was fear and pain. And I'm pretty sure normally your kids don't clutch their chest and sit on the floor, especially when they don't normally sit on the floor like ever. Like, sitting on the floor is weird for me. I don't do that. So yeah, like that was the only time, and I don't understand how I could just be like, normally I'd walk up to my mom and be like, yo mom, I'm not going to school. But this one time I didn't make it to the fucking couch. Obviously something was wrong. Then I was a problem. And arg, that's not the first time that's happened. That was actually a better response than the first time I had debilitating chest pains at home. So let's rewind to the first time. Hold on, I'm gonna start taking things off. I'm gonna get animated and shit. It's gonna be great. I love this shirt. So yeah, the first time I had debilitating chest pains, I was hanging out upstairs, because that was my area at the top of the stairs. I was playing video games or whatever. And I started getting chest pains. And I ignored them at first because that's what I usually do. I just ignore them. And then they got really bad. And it was like a million knives were stabbing me in the back every time I went to breathe. And I went downstairs. My family was sitting on the couch doing something. I don't remember what it was. I think it was the favorite child and my mom. They were watching TV or something. And I was like, guys, something's wrong. It really hurts to breathe. And my mom was like, okay, sit down, sit down. And I sat down on the couch. And she looks me in the eye. She like stands up. She's opposite me. And she's like, tell me what's wrong. And I'm like, I can't breathe. The chest pains are really bad. Like, there's like a million knives stabbing me at once. It's really painful. And at that point, I was really scared. Like, for me to go to my family when I'm scared, there's a real problem. I'm sure they don't think of it that way, but if you've ever met me, you would know that for me to call out for my family's aid, there's a real problem. And I'll never forget, my mother's solution to this problem is, she goes, oh, okay, I know. Give me your feet. I'm like, the fuck? Give me your feet. And so she picks my feet up, she puts them down on the coffee table. And I'm like, oh, what? I don't know what's that. I'm still in pain, so I can't really say anything. I'm just letting her put my feet up on the table. And I'm like, are you trying to, like, I know when they say to lift people's legs up when they pass out and whatever, because it helps them. I wasn't passed out. I don't know what she was going for. And then, I shit you not, this is what she does. To alleviate the pain and what's happening to me at this very moment in time, her reaction is she takes off my right sock. Okay, because I always wear socks when I'm in the house, because I might step on bugs and whatever. She takes off my right sock. She crouches down. She's kneeling now. She's like almost eye level with me. I kid you not. She grabs one of my toes and starts doing this little piggy went to market on my fucking toes while I'm dying. Like, what? Why? What? And now it's a thing in my family. When something terrible is happening, the reaction is immediately someone starts singing, this little piggy went to market. It's not funny. That's off. Why is that your reaction? On what planet would that be a normal reaction? I don't understand. And it wasn't like she just did it with one toe. She did the whole fucking song on my toes. And at first I thought it was funny. And I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where it hurts to breathe. But when you laugh, it feels so much worse. Because it's like sharp intake when you laugh. And you exhale hard too. And that just made everything so much worse. And then I was just angry that that was her reaction. And she was like, well, I mean, I helped, didn't I? You stopped thinking about the pain. No, I didn't. You made it hurt so much more. And also now I know you're a moron. So yeah, that's some stuff that's happened in my life. And why, if you have an issue, you probably shouldn't come to my family for aid. Just gonna put that out there. They most likely won't be able to help you in any situation, unfortunately.
Hey there, guys and gals. Thanks so much for watching, as always. If you click the link on the left, you'll be taken to the previous episode, and if you click the link on the right, you'll be taken to the full playlist where you can watch them all. Now, did you guys forget about toilet humor? Because there's about to be more.